Love in Hollywood can be as fleeting as a box office hit, but some couples manage to outlast the fame, the flashing cameras, and the constant headlines. In today's video, we're shining a light on the top 10 longtime gay celebrity couples who've not only defied the odds, but redefined what lasting love looks like under the spotlight. From quiet soulmates to groundbreaking power couples, these love stories will warm your heart and remind you that real love does endure, even in Tinseltown. So don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and let's dive into the love that stood the test of time. Cynthia Nixon and Kristen Marinoni, a love rooted in purpose. When Cynthia Nixon became a household name as Miranda Hobbs on Sex and the City, few could have predicted that behind the red carpet glamour and award-winning performances, Emmy, Tony, even a Grammy, was a woman whose greatest role would be off-screen, an unwavering advocate for LGBTQ+ rights and social justice. But what truly defined her wasn't just activism, it was love. In 2001, while fighting to reduce overcrowded classrooms in New York City, Nixon crossed paths with Kristen Marinoni, a passionate education reformer from Washington state known for her fierce advocacy for LGBTQ+ youth. What began as a partnership in activism slowly transformed into something deeper. By 2004, their connection evolved into love. Nixon had just ended a 15-year relationship with the father of her 2 children, but falling for Marinoni wasn't a reinvention, it was a revelation. "I don't call myself bisexual," she once quipped, "because nobody likes bisexuals." But behind the humor was a truth. Her love for Marinoni was real, steady, and unapologetic. In 2009, they got engaged at a rally in support of same-sex marriage. And when marriage equality finally became law in New York in 2011, they said, "I do," in an intimate ceremony on May 27, 2012. That same year, Nixon quietly adopted her wife's last name, becoming Cynthia Nixon Marinoni, though she continued using her stage name professionally. Together, they raised their son, Max, while continuing their shared mission for justice. And when Nixon made headlines again in 2018, this time running for governor of New York, Marinoni was right by her side. Not just as a spouse, but as a partner in purpose. Theirs isn't a flashy Hollywood romance. It's a story built on values, activism, and a bond that's as fierce as the causes they fight for. A love not born from the spotlight, but one that shines just as brightly. Elliot Page and Emma Portner, a love story that danced at the edge of art and identity. Before Elliot Page became a global symbol of transgender courage, he made headlines in 2018 when he quietly married Canadian dancer and choreographer Emma Portner. Their love didn't begin on a red carpet, but in the quiet corners of Instagram in 2017, an exchange of admiration that blossomed into something intimate, electric, and boundary-breaking. Emma, known for her raw, expressive movement and collaborations with stars like Justin Bieber and the New York City Ballet, instantly connected with Elliot's soulful, introspective nature. Together, they created a world where love and art merged, sharing glimpses of their connection through dance clips, artistic projects, and heartfelt posts that spoke louder than any tabloid headline ever could. At the time of their wedding, Elliot had not yet come out as transgender. Still, their bond, 2 openly gay creatives united in love, stood as a bold and beautiful symbol of queer authenticity. Their relationship wasn't about fame. It was about truth, tenderness, and 2 souls moving in rhythm. In December 2020, Elliot came out publicly as transgender, opening his heart to the world. Emma responded not with distance, but with grace, praising his bravery and showing unwavering support. Though their marriage quietly ended in early 2021, it did so with dignity, mutual respect, and an unspoken understanding that their journey had changed lives, not just their own. Their time together wasn't forever, but it was fearless. In a world still learning how to embrace gender identity and fluidity, Elliot and Emma offered something rare: visibility, love without labels, and a shared legacy that continues to inspire those searching for the courage to live their truth. Lynch and Embry, a love story that quietly changed the conversation. Lynch, best known for her razor-sharp wit and unforgettable role as Sue Sylvester on Glee, didn't just play bold characters, she lived boldly too. Behind the scenes, she stepped into a deeply personal chapter of her life, falling in love and standing proud in a world that didn't always welcome it. In 2009, at a charity event in San Francisco, Jane crossed paths with Laura Embry, a brilliant clinical psychologist and devoted advocate for LGBTQ+ rights and family equality. It wasn't a grand cinematic moment, but something clicked. A spark, a connection. And by Memorial Day 2010, just a year later, they tied the knot in Massachusetts, one of the few states at the time where same-sex marriage was legally recognized. Their intimate ceremony wasn't just about two hearts joining. It was a quiet act of defiance and celebration during a pivotal time in America's march toward equality. As Jane's star rose with glee, she spoke lovingly and openly about their marriage, often with the same warmth and candor that made her a fan favorite. Laura, meanwhile, stayed grounded in her work, championing mental health, children's rights, and equality without seeking the spotlight. They were different worlds, but for 3 years, they built a bridge between them. In 2014, the couple chose to part ways, peacefully, respectfully, and with heavy hearts. Jane later admitted the split was mutual, but emotionally tough. Still, their story was never just about romance. It was about visibility, about showing that same-sex love could exist proudly, even in Hollywood, where authenticity still came at a cost. Today, Jane remains a fierce advocate for LGBTQ+ youth and inclusive storytelling, while Laura continues her tireless work in psychology and family advocacy. Their time together may have ended, but their impact didn't. Because some love stories, even when they end, still change the world. Jodie Foster and Alexandra Hison, a love story told in quiet strength and unapologetic truth. For decades, Jodie Foster stood as one of Hollywood's most brilliant yet guarded stars, a 2-time Academy Award winner known for her intellect, talent, and mystique. While the cameras loved her, Foster kept her private life far from the spotlight. Not out of fear, but because the world she came up in wasn't kind to vulnerability, especially for LGBTQ+ voices in the entertainment world. Her coming out wasn't loud or staged. It was slow, graceful, and deeply personal. In 2007, she made a quiet nod to her then-partner, producer Sidney Bernard, during an award speech, a soft ripple that carried weight. But it was 2013 at the Golden Globes, when she accepted the Cecil B. DeMille Award, that she finally let her truth breathe. Her words didn't roar, they whispered with courage and elegance, "This is me." Shortly after, Foster found lasting love with Alexandra Hison, a gifted photographer, artist, and former actress best known for her role in the L Word. In April 2014, the couple married in a private ceremony so intimate, the world only learned about it after the fact. They didn't need a spotlight, their bond spoke louder than headlines. And yet, there have been rare, beautiful glimpses. One unforgettable moment came at the 2021 Cannes Film Festival, when Foster accepted an honorary award and turned to share a tender kiss with Hison. It was brief, but it sent shockwaves, a quiet revolution captured in one glance. That kiss wasn't just about love. It was about visibility, dignity, the right to be fully seen. In a business that once demanded silence from people like them, Jodie and Alexandra rewrote the script. They proved that real love doesn't need to scream to be heard. Sometimes, the most powerful stories are told in whispers. Kristen Stewart and Stella Maxwell, 2 women who didn't just fall in love, they lived it boldly, without apology. After skyrocketing to global fame with Twilight, Kristen Stewart could have stayed in the Hollywood machine, polished and predictable. But she didn't. She broke away from the glossy expectations, trading red carpets and headlines for raw honesty, both in her career and her personal life. In 2017, Kristen began quietly dating Stella Maxwell, the stunning Victoria's Secret angel known for her fierce runway presence and radiant confidence. Their relationship didn't come with a media circus or performative PDA. It was understated but powerful, captured in stolen moments, bike rides through LA, hand-in-hand strolls at fashion weeks in Paris, cozy days behind closed doors. Their love didn't need a spotlight, it glowed on its own. That same year, Kristen stood on the Saturday Night Live stage and casually dropped a truth that rippled through millions. "I'm so gay, dude." Just 5 words: playful, candid, revolutionary. A mic drop moment in a town still uneasy about queerness unless it's behind closed doors. Though Kristen and Stella split in late 2018, the story didn't end there. By the summer of 2019, they had found their way back to each other, rekindling what clearly hadn't burned out. The flame lasted until 2020, and by 2021, Kristen announced her engagement to screenwriter Dylan Meyer, stepping into a new chapter. Still, what she shared with Stella wasn't erased. It was a beautiful, vital part of her journey. In a world where queer love is often forced to explain itself, Kristen and Stella didn't justify, didn't perform. They just were. And sometimes, the quietest loves leave the loudest echoes. Lily Tomlin and Jane Wagner. In a town built on make-believe and fleeting romances, Lily Tomlin and Jane Wagner crafted something rare, an authentic love story that quietly defied time, trends, and expectations. While Hollywood chased headlines and viral moments, their journey began in the most old-school way possible, through a script. It was 1971. Tomlin, a rising comedic force on Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, was searching for a writer to help shape a television special. What she found instead was magic. Jane Wagner, sharp, soulful, and brilliantly witty, brought words to life in a way that spoke directly to Lily's heart and mind. That first collaboration was more than just professional chemistry. It was the spark of something deeper. What followed wasn't a whirlwind romance or a red carpet affair. It was a quiet evolution. A love that grew backstage, in writing rooms, in shared laughter, and in knowing glances. Over decades, they became not just creative partners, but soulmates. Together, they crafted work that was smart, subversive, and funny, breaking boundaries while building an unshakable bond. Though their relationship was an open secret in the industry, they never chased the spotlight. "We never tried to be a couple," Lily once said. "We just were." And in 2013, after 42 years of life and love side by side, they married in a private ceremony on New Year's Eve. No press, no spectacle. Just love, finally recognized by law. Long before same-sex marriage was legal, Tomlin and Wagner proved that true love doesn't need applause to matter. It doesn't demand a stage. It simply needs 2 people who see each other clearly and choose each other every day. That's the kind of story Hollywood rarely tells. And yet, it's the most powerful one of all. Linda Hunt and Karen Klene. In a town built on image, Linda Hunt has always stood out, not for fitting in, but for breaking the mold. Standing just 4 feet 9 inches, with a voice that could silence a room and a presence that defied expectation, she made Hollywood history in 1984 by becoming the first actor to win an Oscar for playing a character of the opposite gender in the year of Living Dangerously. But behind the accolades and applause is a quiet love story, one of the most enduring, yet least talked about in showbiz. Since the late 1970s, Linda has shared her life with Karen Klene, a devoted psychotherapist. While others chased headlines, red carpets, and the public's approval, Linda and Karen chose something rarer: privacy, peace, and purpose. In 2008, when California finally recognized same-sex marriage, they didn't throw a lavish celebration. They simply said, "I do," after decades of already doing the hard, beautiful work of loving each other. Now, more than 45 years later, they still live in their cozy old wooden home in Los Angeles, gardening, collecting vintage treasures, and attending small neighborhood events. On the few occasions Linda opens up about her personal life, she speaks of Karen with warmth and a twinkle in her eye. "Karen is the real deal," she once said. "I'm the oddball, but somehow, we've built this beautiful life together." At a time when being openly queer could cost you everything in Hollywood, Linda Hunt didn't need a soapbox or a spotlight. She simply lived her truth. No Instagram posts, no interviews for clicks. Just love, quiet and constant. And maybe that's the most powerful story of all. Because sometimes, it's the softest voices that leave the deepest echoes. Thanks for watching. If this story touched you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.